right, this is another episode of Finding the Seams. We have conversations leading right up to when the red light goes on, and you never know where we're going to be. We could be in midstream. I'm Ric Bucher. That is Brendan Haywood, and I'm not even going to go to what we were talking about. I just don't want to go there.
Don't do it.
But I do have some house cleaning, Brendan, from the last show. As I told you, I need to take notes anytime that we do a show, because there's things that kind of you put out there and I should respond to them, but sometimes I miss. So number one, what's that? You put out that that the Grizzlies were putting out the news about Ja Morant, or the leak about Ja Morant being available, that they're ready to move him, as the Grizzlies preparing the fan base for when it becomes official.
For sure.
Here's my question. Were you suggesting that the Grizzlies already have some sort of framework for a deal possible, and that it's a matter of when, not if, as opposed to they're preparing the fan base that he could be moved, but they don't have anything specific? Were you being like, hey, you know what? It's going to happen, and there's something that's kind of lined up and it's ready to go. It's just, and so they're letting the fan base know that they may pull the trigger.
The Grizzlies were trying to trade Ja Morant last year at the trade deadline, if we're being honest, from what I've heard. So by now they've had a whole off season. They've also had the beginning of the preseason. They've had the beginning of this year. They know what Ja's price is. They've gauged. They've asked certain teams. They know who's interested and who's not, and now they have to figure out, do we want to accept said price? And I think that's why they're probably leaking some of the info and the stuff out that they are. And, listen, I don't know if they can go back. You saw that video the other day with Ja and one of his teammates. Look like they're about to come to blows right there. Like Vince said, yo, let's go talk in the back. And I'm going to tell you like this. When somebody tell you to go talk in the back and you give the comment like, nah, let's talk right here, that means you don't want to go talk in the back.
That's right. Absolutely.
You can tell the people whatever you want. You can try to say, nah, I'm right here. Come see me right here. You not like that. Anytime somebody say, hey, my man, let's go talk out back, and you don't move. First of all, that says that with somebody doing that to a star player, a role player doing that to a star player tells me one thing. And the second thing that tells me is that, Ja ain't want that smoke, nigga.
Yep. No, you can always tell even when there's a dust up during a game, the guy who is waiting for someone to hold him back. Like he's not charging, he's talking, but he ain't moving very fast to engage. You can always tell who the posers are in terms of the guys who really want to mix it up. And I would imagine, Brendan, you know this better than I do. Like, there are guys across the league that you do not want to mess with. And you may exchange words, but then when it's like, oh, we could square off, dudes know exactly that ain't a guy I'm going to mess with. The first guy that comes to mind is James Johnson. The black belt, right?
No one wants with James Johnson.
Nobody. Yeah, agreed.
Nobody. Like, this is like our Gennaro Pargo told me him and James Johnson got into it one time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he did something that he had never seen anybody do before a possible fight before. He said he tapped his foot twice on the ground, and then he did like a roundhouse kick around Gennaro Pargo's head. Like giving like a warning shot, like, yo, this is what I could do to you. Like, don't nobody ever really give you a warning shot. Now that's not my story. That's what Gennaro told me. That's just a word on the street. But the fact that he told me, like, yo, listen, we were about to get into it, and Buddy gave me a warning shot. I ain't never heard of that. Don't nobody want to fight nobody that's giving karate warning shot. Don't nobody want to fight that guy.
That means that James Johnson is very much a disciple of the martial arts, because the whole purpose behind it is I want to be able to defend myself, but I want to only defend myself. I do not want to be the attacker. So if there's a way for me to mollify the situation, calm things down, let people know I'm not messing around, that's the path that they generally want to take. So good on James Johnson for approaching it that way. The other piece of house cleaning I had was you were adamant that you would trade Julius Randle to do a deal for Ja Morant, but you at least you were open to it, but in no way would you include Reid. And I just let that go right by. Why are you so committed to keeping Naz Reid, but you're willing to move Julius Randle?
I think Naz Reid just fits. He just fits better. When you look at a guy 4 or 5, he's a stretch, true catch and shoot, top of the key, corner, straight line driver. I like his defense as well. I think Julius Randle is cold, but I think that Julius has to get a certain amount of touches for him to be happy. You have to run a certain amount of offense through him. And I just believe if you bring in like a guy like Ja Morant, I believe Julius Randle fits better. Not Julius Randle. I believe Naz Reid fits better than Julius Randle. That's why I wouldn't move Julius. So I brought in Ja Morant to Minnesota, and I don't even know if they're even really looking. But I'm hearing it's more Miami. But at the same time, if I was looking to make that move, I would definitely want to keep Naz Reid. I think he just fits better.
By the way, did you see that head coach Chris Finch was saying that he was complimenting Julius Randle? He said he's the perfect complement to Anthony Edwards because he's a playmaking forward. And that got my antenna up, because to me that says the attempts to play through Ant as the playmaker, they've decided this is not the best use of Ant. We need to have another playmaker, because there was a while there where they were trying to see if they could put the ball in his hands. That was behind him developing his mid-range so that he could operate from the elbows and run through everything. And I get the sense that they've decided we don't want to do that. And I question whether that was really Ant's game. I think it slows him down when you ask him to read and react, right? I want to give him the ball and have him go. So that's where I think that if it's not Ja Morant, that they are still one. I don't know that they would move Julius Randle at this point unless it was another playmaker that could handle those duties.
Not quite sure. I'm not sure. Like I said, I think Julius Randle's having a great year. I think that he's a scoring forward. Do I think he's a natural playmaker? Like, maybe I have a different definition.
I don't think he's a natural playmaker, but Finch saying that just told me that they don't think Ant is, or they're not looking for Ant to play that role going forward. And I think they started the year thinking that maybe he could.
Well, if they don't think Ant's a playmaker, then they don't have a playmaker on the roster.
Yeah. Well, other than Mike Conley, who's just too old to make that happen.
He's too old to consistently consider him a playmaker right now. He's a great role player, great vet, can still help you. Mike Conley can still help you win, but he can't be the playmaker that you need to win a playoff series.
No, I agree, which is, I think, is their Achilles heel, is that they don't have that true in his prime playmaker for where the Minnesota Timberwolves want to go. All right, since we're on the subject of Anthony Edwards, I gave you a homework assignment. I hope that you are ready for it, which is to name your all-star starting five for the East and the Western conferences.
I got the homework assignment, but okay. I'm gonna probably get an incomplete because I'm gonna need you to help me with the Eastern Conference, because I was just looking like the West is kind of easy. All-star, Jokic, Wemby, Shea, Luka, Ant-Man. That's my five.
Yeah.
The West is kind of maybe if you want to throw KD or somebody in there, that's fine. But that's pretty much the five that I have right now.
Okay. And who did you start with over in the East?
Man, in the East, it's like all I want to do is put guards. Like it's like all I want is
but you can do that. You just pick five. So like they left it wide open this year. Like you don't have to pick a center and two forwards and two guards or anything. That you're just picking the five guys that you think should be starting.
Oh, if that's the case, then let me go with I'm gonna go with Cade.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the self-proclaimed best two-way player in basketball, Jaylen Brunson, and he is it. It's self-proclaimed entry.
Jaylen Brown.
Did I say Jaylen Brunson? I said Jaylen Brown.
I was just checking. I think you said Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, the self-proclaimed best two-way player in basketball, Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Then I will go with Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
I got Tyrese Maxey.
Yep. I'm with you.
And last, I know he in like 11th place, but I got to go with Giannis. He's averaging 30, 10, and 6.
I'm glad you started with Cade, though. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think Cade's the best player. I think for winning right now, Cade.
What did you say? Woo! Where'd you go?
Yeah. For winning right now in the Eastern Conference, Cade Cunningham might be the best player to do that.
I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at that. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that you went there that quickly. But I
watch basketball.
I agree with you.
Listen, he can be a scorer and a playmaker. He has really good size at 6'7", big point guard. He defends. He's on a team that defends. Like defense is required. There's no reason not to like him. I think he's on his Shai Gilgeous-Alexander type ascension. Remember how it was like before the championship? It was like 2 years before where we could kind of see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he is right now. It's like, I can see that coming. I can see Detroit making a deep run this year. Yeah. They have the pieces, and then it just takes some time, and next thing you know, boom, championship level. So I can see when I look at who would I take? I would probably take Cade over anybody in the East right now. If they say you got to take one player.
Yeah, you're starting a franchise.
Starting a franchise right now today with one player in the East.
Yeah,
it would probably be Cade, or they said you could look at Giannis, but that's where we at today.
Yeah. Do you know his story?
Who?
He wasn't sure that he was going to end up being a pro or playing basketball because I guess he had a kid very early on, and he thought, well, I'm just going to have to be a dad. I'm going to have to get a job. The hoop dream is over. And I don't know exactly what the next step for him was, but he was able to bridge the gap and make it happen. But there's a maturity that comes with an experience like that very early on, especially for someone who decides to embrace it. Never thinks twice about, oh, I had a kid, I'm going to be the dad. That's what my priority is. My life comes second, right? And maybe it's the storyteller in me. Maybe it's the whatever. I just feel like the off the court experiences, and I would dare say that he was probably shaped by his parents or some mentor, somebody early on gave him that mindset, that goes a long way toward being a leader of an NBA team or any enterprise. That when you're thinking about others, along with being the best you can be, have the confidence, I know what I can do, but I'm going to try to take care of everybody. That to me is that unique quality that makes someone a leader in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, obviously being a parent changes things. It changes the way you look at life. It changes the way you look at the world, responsibility, what's really important or not. So if somebody had a child at a very early age, that forced them to grow up super early. When I had my daughter, I was in my late 30s, but it made me grow up. I can just imagine if I had my daughter when I was in my late 20s, it would have done the exact same thing because there's a different level of responsibility when you're responsible for a life. So I could definitely see why that would make him grow up and be a little bit more mature, especially having a kid, like I said, obviously early on.
I admire and respect those who at a very early age have a kid and embrace what that means and that responsibility. I can also understand, well, not necessarily respect, I can understand those who aren't ready for it and try to get around it because you're like, the life that I thought I was going to have is over. And I would never endorse that. But I guess there's a part of me that understands how someone really young might have that feeling and try to go another direction.
I'm glad you brought it home. I didn't know where you was going with it at first. I thought you were celebrating the deadbeat dads.
No, not at all. I just, we immediately vilify men who do that. And I think, once you it all depends on the age, but if I'm 18 or 19 and I wasn't intending to marry this girl and this wasn't what I was intending to do. We all make mistakes. I mean, I can understand it. I wouldn't endorse it. I wouldn't support it. I wouldn't even defend it, but I understand it.
Okay.
I was young and dumb at one point too.
I'm gonna let you off the hook, man. Let's keep the train rolling.
You're probably right. If we, yeah.
We may have
to edit that out. I took a left turn there.
Yeah, it got dark real quick. But
it didn't get dark. You know what? I'm feeling my humanity. Is what I'm feeling right now for whatever reason.
I'm not feeling it, but I see it. I'm not feeling it.
Okay. All right. Let's keep it, as you said. Let's keep it moving. By the way, has anybody ever told you there are times where you sound like Denzel Washington?
I've actually never heard that. I've heard I look like him.
Okay, I'm not even going any further than that. By the way, just as the last put a bow on the whole all-star conversation. So I received I don't know if you know this, like there's teams that send out stuff to
You still get a vote?
Yeah, I still have a vote.
Yeah, how did I never get a vote? I was in the media. I've been in the media for like a decade. How did I never get a vote? That's crazy.
I don't know. We need some fresh blood, and we need some people who know what they're doing. So let me find out. I'll work on that for you.
Okay.
I'll get you in touch with my people.
All
but because there's 100 of us, I think there's 100 media members that have votes. Surely you're in the top 100. You got to be in the top 100, brother.
Somehow I'm not.
We'll make it happen. Happen. You're at least a 3-star. Come on, we can get you on there. Come on, man. Don't give me that look. So I'm going so sideways. Anyway, you may not know. Well, you don't know because you have never been in the media with a vote. What teams do is they send out like promotional material in various ways, campaigning for whatever players they're promoting, right? And it used to be I used to get a ton of stuff. Now I think teams have kind of cut it back, realized that it doesn't necessarily have any influence. Probably one of the best recent things I got was a couple of things. The Atlanta Hawks went all out with Dyson Daniels being the barrier thief. They sent a T-shirt that was pretty cool. And when I was still playing pickup, loved wearing those swag T-shirts. But I tell the story because the Philadelphia 76ers sent me promotional material, which happened to arrive after I put in my ballot. But they were promoting Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. And I'm thinking, why are we promoting Joel Embiid at this point?
They got to. They got to.
Why? That's why I brought it up. Because I don't know whether it's in the contract or whether, like, with the teammates that you've known. I mean, is this something that's ever talked about or players are aware of, like who's being pushed for certain things by the team versus guys who are not?
Oh yeah, we know who the team is getting behind for sure. I mean, and most of the time it's justified, but there's times when we can see like, oh, they want this guy to be in this role or certain prominent position. So Joel Embiid, the team probably doesn't want it to get out to Joel or his representation or anybody else that they were promoting Maxey and not just him.
Yeah.
But everybody that's watched the 76ers play, no, that ship has sailed. It's Tyrese Maxey's team. And then after that, the next guy's going to be Edgecombe.
I know. Exactly.
Like Paul George and Embiid, yeah, they there. And they still have something to offer. But the team is no longer you guys' team.
Yeah. Nope. Understood. All right. That's enough all-star talk for right now.
So we had the same 5 all-stars.
We had the exact same 5. This to me was the easiest starting 5s in both conferences that I can ever remember. I mean, Ant and Steph Curry, at this point I can't give it to Steph. That was the next name. In the East, I wanted to find a way to reward Scotty Barnes because I think that he has really risen. But Brandon Ingram's the leading scorer on the Raptors. And, I like Scotty Barnes or Jalen Brunson because I could make a case that Scotty's a better two-way player, right? But better record. And Brunson's the beneficiary of some guys who are having great year. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, like number of guys are contributing there, but then so is Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel quickly. So that was as close as it came, but it wasn't really close. And I think it's going. That's how the vote is going to go. So in any event, we today, as we record this, the gates are now open to Jonathan Kuminga and a few other guys, and we would expect that trade talks are going to ramp up. And Jonathan Kuminga has added to that by apparently his agent telling the Warriors that he is now demanding to be traded, which for all the DNPs he's received is really not that surprising. I think that the Warriors definitely want to accommodate him. But what do you make of the landscape right now of the guys that are out there? And is there somebody in particular you think that guy's the first guy that's going to be moved?
Well, first and foremost, I don't know who the first guy is, but I would hope it would be Jonathan Kuminga. I want to see him moved. At this point, he's a young player trying to develop. What's going on for him right now is bigger than basketball. This is hurting his mental health. I guarantee you it is, because he knows he can play. Mm-hmm. He's watching his peers that are his age getting a chance to thrive, and every night he's getting DNPs. And when he's gotten his chance, whether it be the playoffs last year, he's looked good. He might just not be good for this system with Steph, but this system with Steph right now with this age group and this team, they're not winning. Yep. So it's like, I don't know why they wouldn't just play Jonathan Kuminga and let the chips fall where they may, but I'm hoping he's the first guy to get traded, because I think that at this point, Golden State needs to say, since we're not moving forward, we need to move on from this young man and give him a chance to show what he can do. Because when he gets out there, he's actually a really good player. He's really everybody knows he's good. There's not any questions of can Kuminga play.
Yeah. No, he's in a tough spot, and so are the Warriors, because they are under command to continue to try to land a playoff spot, to try to keep the idea that they could make some magical run at the end of the year. And the way that they play, or their belief in how they're going to do that, is playing through Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler. And everybody else is being judged by how do you contribute playing around those guys. And I will tell you, watching the Warriors as much as I do, like the Guy Santoses and the Pat Spencers are not as talented as Jonathan Kuminga. But when they go out there, like, they do the dirty work. And there's never a question of where they are. And you can just see Jonathan trying to figure out, like, how do I play my game? Because that's how I believe I can contribute. And as a result, he's slow sometimes. He's late to a rebound or a rebound opportunity. He's late rotating defensively. And I think Steve looks at it and goes, I'm just going to play the guys that I know are going to execute what we're trying to get done. I think Kuminga's had times where he's shown like he can be that, but they really just want energy guys. And Jonathan, for all his athleticism, like, Podziemski's a better rebounder than Kuminga. That should never, ever, ever happen. And yet he is. So as an example, and I don't know if you've had teammates that have been in that situation. I don't know if you've been in that situation where it's like you're kind of stuck because you're on a team where your role, you really don't fit the role that might be open to you.
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of teammates. Every NBA team has somebody on the bench that can go somewhere and average 15. Every team. That's how talented the league is. There's always one guy that's probably not playing, but if you gave him opportunity, now I'm not saying they could get 15 on a championship level team, but they could go to a team and they could get 15 or better. Every team. I played with plenty of guys. Like Nick Young was on our team, buried on the bench. Eddie Jordan never wanted to play him. Same type of things, immaturity, discipline on defense. But when he went to the Clippers, he was the sixth man of the year right away.
Yeah.
You know, they figured out a way to use him. And sometimes that's what it's all about. Can we figure out a way to use you? Like, we ran a complicated Princeton offense. Sometimes Nick would forget the plays. But what I would always tell the coaching staff is, yo, this guy's good. When he comes in, scrap the Princeton offense and just run pin downs and let him boogie. We need that type of explosion. That's how you have to think when you have talented players. Okay, I'm going to put this guy in, but when I put him in, we might run a little bit of a different offense or a different version of it so we can be the best version of ourselves and we can take advantage of an asset. Golden State's trying to say, no, you play this way. Yep. And it's not working for Jonathan Kuminga or Golden State. They have a guy that's making, $25 million that's not playing? Yeah. And we know he's talented? Nah, this needs dead that. It needs to stop today. And just kind of similar to how Nick Young thrived as soon as he got on the Clippers, I think that we could see something very similar for Kuminga. The next place he goes, he's going to put up numbers.
Do you think that the Warriors have mishandled or in some way done Jonathan Kuminga dirty by the way they've done this?
Yes, they've mishandled the situation, and because they view him as – they're looking at him strictly as an asset, not a person, and I know this is a business. They're not looking at the fact that they're not thinking about what this is doing to him, what's this doing to him mentally, what this is doing to his development. Like working hard all summer and training and then get into the season and knowing that you're better than a lot of guys on the team and you're not getting a chance to play, it does something to you. I've seen people go into very dark places when they've been put in that spot. Yeah. Like and I didn't know what it was then, but as I'm older now, I'm like, oh, that's why that guy was drinking. That's why he was smoking all the time. That's why he was going out in every city. He's trying to get over this feeling of helplessness. Like, yo, I know I'm good. I know I'm that dude, but they don't want to play me. And then here's the other layer. The fan base doesn't want to hear anything because you're making money. People think, oh, you're making money, so you should be good. You should be okay.
You should be happy. What problems do you have?
You're making $25 million. You're living a good life. You drive a Rolls Royce. Don't complain. And there's all that on somebody that young. Man, I guarantee you he's struggling, man. Because Kuminga is nice. He like that. The next place he goes, he's going to get a chance to play. So I think this was mishandled all around by the organization. Especially if you knew you were going to go for it and try to win this year, why didn't they just trade him in the offseason? Because you knew Steve Kerr wasn't going to play him. Yeah. He didn't want to play him last year until he had to. And look, when Steph went down, Kuminga was the best player on their team in the playoffs. Go look at the film.
Yeah, no, I this is why when teams have a split agenda, which is we're trying to squeeze out more championships, we're trying to honor Steph, Dre, and that's why they went and got Jimmy Butler. We still want to try to make another run like 22, and but we're also going to draft young athletic players, James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga, and they're just at cross purposes from the very beginning. I don't know if we've talked about it, but like they could have drafted a Franz Wagner or an Alperen Sengun, guys who had higher basketball IQs and might have fit their system better than going guys that are raw like a Wiseman or Kuminga coming in. I think his game has evolved, and he's a skilled player. There's no doubt about it, and crazy athletic. But like he doesn't fit. And the other thing I think that's probably weighing on him is while he is making, I don't think it's quite 25. It's over 20, but it's a team option on next year. So what he's making right now is all he's guaranteed, and he's not playing. So he's thinking like, I'm not even getting a chance to prove what I am worth. What's that going to do to my next contract?
They're devaluing him. They're devaluing their own asset, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, but the flip side is that it is whoever gets him is not committed to any long-term contract. But I think that they could have split the difference. Like if you had gotten him for, say, the Josh Giddey deal, that would be that. And someone believes that Kuminga in the right place can evolve and be great, then you would have had him on like $25 million for the next 2-3 years. That would have actually, I think, increased his value than where you are right now, which is he could be really good and he may show you he's really good, and now you may have to pay him more than you would have if the Warriors had signed him to a long-term deal. So yeah, it is without question, it is a mess. Speaking of messes. We our moratorium on talking about LeBron James and Rich Paul and the Lakers, donezo. It's over. We have to address it. And like, why are you so reluctant to talk about this?
I'm not reluctant. I just didn't want to go. I knew we were coming back here. I'm just disappointed from the Lakers standpoint, not us. I'm just disappointed that we've been put in this situation because I don't really understand why this is happening.
So for those who may not be up to speed, Rich Paul, the head of Clutch Agency, LeBron James's bestie from their days going back to Cleveland, growing up together.
Don't call him his bestie, his business manager. Don't do that.
No, are you kidding me? He's one of the four horsemen. He's a bestie. He's a BFF.
Okay, now, all right. You see Phil Jackson?
He is.
Phil Jackson. You see when Phil Jackson said they were the posse. You see what happened, though. All right.
That is not what. Look, that was a loaded reference. Calling him a bestie or a BFF.
Hello.
That's not loaded.
You're gonna get the call.
You what? Oh, you know what? I'm kind of looking forward to the call at this point. I want to see. I want to experience that. I got the call from David Stern one time. That was.
You don't want that call.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't a call. It was in person. I got the call and flew up. I was at the Washington Post and flew up and met with David.
You got flued out. You got flued out.
I get flued out.
Yeah, you got flued out. Okay.
Anyway, so Rich Paul, for those who don't know, is doing a podcast with Max Kellerman under For the Ringer, and is talking what I think we would both agree, talking out of school talked about what the Lakers should do is trade Austin Reeves for a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr., which, by the way, is a really bad idea.
Awful.
But in any case...
hold on. That is a bad trade for the Lakers with the way that Jaren Jackson Jr. is rebounding and defending at this point of his career.
Yeah.
And then it's also really bad from the standpoint of Rich. Rich is talking like he's just some regular dude.
Yep.
You have to, I said this from the jump, you have to understand, if you're Rich Paul, when you say something, whether it's true or not, now LeBron James has to answer for it.
Yeah.
Now LeBron has to make a statement that, no, Rich Paul is his own man. He speaks for himself because people think you're speaking for him. But more importantly, my big thing, if I could sit down with Rich Paul, I would say, what is your end game? When you start anything, you should always have the end in mind. Do you think this is going to be do you think this podcast is going to be making $50 million a year at some point? Because right now, with the money you making from being an agent, the money you made just from being in that LeBron James orbit, is he engaged or married to Adele? Which one is
I don't know, but he's in the Adele circle.
Bam, your beautiful other half is a mega millionaire as well. You don't, unless this is going to be some type of huge money grab, I don't understand why you're doing this. The juice is not worth the squeeze unless you're telling me, yeah, I'm about to quit the agency business and be a full-time podcaster. Then I get it. If Rich says, hey, man, podcasting is my true passion, I want to get rid of my clients in the next couple of years, dissolve the agency, and be a full-time podcaster, okay, then that makes sense. This is your rollout. If that is not the case, I don't know what the hell Rich Paul is thinking about throwing all these comments out there for no reason and even starting this podcast to begin with.
So let me tell you why he is doing this. Why I think what is behind this is,
please enlighten me.
He recognizes that LeBron James is near the end, is about to step off the stage. And Rich Paul is trying to establish his own identity and his own presence. And so it's a matter of, I'm not going to have that guy, the guy that I've been associated with all this time. I have to make my presence felt for who I am and what I am doing, and hope that that's going to carry forward. I'm not saying that this is the best way to approach that, but I would say that's the motive behind what he's doing, which he recognizes it's time for me to step to center stage because LeBron is about to step off. And I need to do that in a variety of ways. And by getting out there and having this attention, it's accomplishing that. We're now and now LeBron's, divesting himself of Rich. I think Rich is forcing that, is pushing that. Like, I am my own guy and I will say things and you will think that they are contrary to what LeBron would want. Well, that's what I want, because I want you to see me as someone separate from LeBron.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what's being done here. It's looking like it's not looking like you're separating from him. Unfortunately for Rich,
no, it feels like you're dragging him.
Yeah.
And I also, I don't know if you saw the conspiracy theory, but I'm tickled by this. I don't think it's in any way true, but so Bill Simmons started the Ringer, still has it as far as I know, oversees it in some capacity. And the podcast is on the Ringer. And he apparently brought Max and Rich together. Bill Simmons is a die-hard Boston Celtics fan. Die-hard. Makes no bones about it. And the conspiracy theory is he knew that Rich Paul was going to create mess for the Los Angeles Lakers by doing this podcast. And anything that is bad for the Los Angeles Lakers is viewed as good by a Boston Celtics fan. So that this was some sinister plot by Bill Simmons to cut the legs out from under the Los Angeles Lakers, even though they acquired Luka Doncic.
That's going a bit far. I don't think Bill Simmons is playing 3D chess in favor of the Boston Celtics. But you know what though? I want to throw you a curveball.
Oh, okay.
Since you brought up the Boston Celtics.
Yeah. Oh, here it comes.
Do they have a Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum problem?
Are you going back to that?
No. Because here's the thing.
Yeah.
It was always cool that Jayson Tatum was Batman and Jaylen Brown was Robin.
No, because it wasn't. It wasn't actually. I don't think Jaylen Brown was ever comfortable in that role.
You're right. I'm just saying from a media standpoint, it was always cool to say Tatum's here, Brown's right here. And it was always funny to make the left hand jokes, and people didn't think that Jaylen Brown could carry a team.
Yeah.
Now that Jaylen Brown is proving he can carry a team, when Tatum comes back, I don't think that he's ever going to want it to be the way it was before, and I don't know if Tatum is ever going to be accepting of the new way.
Interesting. I actually could see, like, I've always thought that Jaylen just had a little more dog and fire and give me the reins in him than Jayson did, which is why I think there's a possibility that while there is this shift, I think this could be a little bit like the Steph Curry, Kevin Durant situation when Kevin Durant came to the Warriors, which is, I think Jayson, to his credit, wants to win more than he wants to be a superstar or the face of the team, if you will. So, and these guys have a long-standing relationship. So if Jaylen Brown approaches it the right way, which is not giving Jayson the Heisman and saying, okay, this is my team now, you need to back off, but kind of letting it happen naturally, then I think that there's a way for this to work. Especially, I mean, we've just become so presumptuous when it comes to somebody who has an injury, like a severe injury, that they're going to come back and they're going to be the same. Because for the most part, we've seen guys recover, but we don't know. What's Jayson Tatum going to be when he gets back? Right?
Very fair.
And it's going to take him, and it's probably going to take him a little bit, even when he gets back, to kind of, find whatever his optimal game is at this point. So I don't really worry about that. And then I guess in one way, Brendan, I almost feel like this is the appropriate order of things, because when they beat the Dallas Mavericks, the guy who was putting Luka Doncic in a box was Jaylen Brown. And anytime Jayson looked a little wobbly or the three wasn't falling or whatever, you didn't have to tell Jaylen to take over. Jaylen was ready and willing and chomping at the bit. So I think it's just a matter of if Jaylen's going to be in that role. My question about him always has been, you need to be a little more efficient in that role. Like he almost was overly aggressive for the talent that they had. And he needed to find a way to kind of like go get yours, but realize you got other options here and there's a way to be more efficient, and that's going to make the team collectively better. Because I think Jayson, that's what made Jayson a little bit better than Jaylen in that role, right? Is that he could blend what he wanted to get done with what everybody else was trying to do. He could figure out like how's the best way for us to play, as opposed to Jaylen thinking like, okay, how do I get it done? Like, how do I get my game going?
I agree.
Fair.
I just want to throw it out there and see what you're gonna say. So I just want to throw it out there. Throw your little curveball.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Before we go, one last item: the LeBron James patch, 23 years, adding it to the jersey. What are you? It you know what's kind of weird for me, Brendan, is it just came out of nowhere, right?
Like, why are they doing that?
Yeah, and what's I don't know. It feels like a consolation prize, or it feels like, oh, he might be going. Maybe we need to celebrate, but we don't know. So, it struck me as just as weird. You would think there would be a build up, or you do it at the beginning of the year, or something, right?
It's just not necessary. That's just what I think. Like, listen, Bron is great. We understand when he announces that he's going to retire officially, there's going to be a rollout. There's going to be a retirement party, ceremony, whatever you want to call it, and he's going to get all his flowers. But we don't need the LeBron James 23-year patch on the jersey. Like, come on, man. We don't. It's just not necessary. That's the best way I can put it. No disrespect. Like I said, I'm going to celebrate his career just like everybody else because, like I said, I've said it before. He's carried this league for 2 decades. No one has carried the NBA from like just being like the most popular player as long as he has. No. I'm talking about while playing. Who carried it longer than LeBron?
It's not longer. It's just I don't know that the 20 years was uninterrupted. I think he's always been there. I think he's been a pallbearer, but it's not like he's carried the thing by himself. Like at various times, guys have stepped forward, and you could make a case we're carrying a little bit of a heavier load.
No. I'm not saying that LeBron carried the league like Magic Johnson and Bird did at a tape delay. I'm just saying
you kind of were just.
I'm just saying he has been one of the hot button topics from the day that he stepped in the league.
Yes.
It's always been eyeballs. This guy coming from high school, coming from Akron, his first game against Sacramento, everybody watching. And then not only did he ball, he lived up to the hype. He actually exceeded the hype. So from the moment he stepped in at 18 years old, the league has been watching him. Right. Most of the time, what happens when you're a number 1 pick and you get drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers, they don't really watch a lot of your games because at that point, the Cleveland Cavaliers weren't that good. Normally, you're on a really, really bad team and no one cares. That was not the LeBron James experience. That's why I said he's had to carry the league. I'm talking about from an eyeball popularity standpoint for 2 decades. 2 decades. So when it's his time, it's his time. I just don't think this patch is necessary. When it's his time, we all should celebrate what he is. When it's LeBron's time to go, I don't want to hear about the Jordan debate. We can table that for another day. And I'm a Jordan guy, but we can table that for when it's his time to go. It needs to be celebrating what he's done. But this patch is some nonsense that is not needed. Don't nobody need the patch. We don't need that. We don't need it. This ain't what is it? It was a Boy Scout that got the patches. We don't need all the patches, man. We don't need it.
So why after 23 years, with all that you said, which is true, like LeBron has been front and center. I think his popularity has been he's been polarizing, which has put him in a unique position. Why does it feel like he still needs or thinks he needs validation?
because we live in a world of social media where there's still a lot of people that whether he looks at it or not, there's so many people that want to tell him what he's not. He's great, and they want to say
so much. Like, who cares what people on social media? Who cares what anybody else thinks when you've done what he's done for 23 years?
It's easy to say that if you Ric Bucher. It's easy to say that if you Brendan Haywood. But imagine just being incredibly great at something from the age of like 18, and actually he was great even in high school. So let's just say from the age of 14 on to your 40s. And you did it at one of the highest levels, and there's still people that want to tear you down. So I guess that's why sometimes it comes off as like he's sticking out his chest when you don't think he needs to, because he can say he don't hear it. He can say he's never actually really responded.
You know better than that.
That's what I'm saying. He's never actually really responded to Skip Bayless, but you know he heard it. Skip Bayless made a career off that man. Yep. And I'm not, and Skip did some other things as well, but I'm just saying he made a career off hating off somebody that's been great. So many people say negative things about LeBron that I understand why he carries himself the way he is, because he has millions, even though he has millions of fans, he has millions of haters. Imagine being great at something and you're so great that people want to dislike you. That's crazy.
But you can either focus on the millions that love you and recognize what you've done and realize, and I think this is what comes with maturity. We talk about his age all the time, right? And how amazing it is at 41 that he's doing what he's doing, which is without question amazing. But that said, you get to 41, you realize, you know what? I can't make everybody happy. People are going to have opinions. I've been in the spotlight all this time, and there have been critics no matter what I do, no matter how many championships I win, no matter what I get. So at some point, you just kind of let it go. I mean, as you let it go, you realize it's not worth my energy or my time. And I just get the feeling like he's never let go of that.
Different strokes for different folks. Some people can let it go, some people can't.
So true. That's so true. Well, we're going to let go of this episode at this point. And I'm going to hold on to the fact that on several subjects in this episode, you agreed to the point where I threw it to you and you had nothing more to say because I nailed it.
Well, listen. In some of those segments, I thought at the beginning part, I might have been, hey, sometimes I can talk a little too much. I gave you my point. Then you gave me yours and you agreed with me. So it was just like, you know what? Hey, we might as well just ride off into the sunset. There's no need to create an argument, create a beat when there's not one.
I am so with you, brother. Finding the seams. It's just a happy brotherhood here. Thank all of you for being part of our brotherhood, our fraternity. And that's it. We'll do it again next week.
All right.